The movie opens in August 1943, where we see RAF pilot officer Maude Garrett tasked with a confidential mission that involves transporting a highly classified package from Auckland, New Zealand to Samoa. Upon her arrival at the airbase under the cover of darkness, she finds herself directly in front of her designated aircraft, an American B-17 bomber aptly named the Fool's Errand. She is greeted by a man known as Tommy Dorn, but another individual, Terrence Taggart, instructs her to disembark from the plane. The diverse group of Allied crew members, hailing from different nationalities, greets her with mostly scornful attitudes upon her arrival. Due to limited space, she is assigned to stay in the vacant Sperry Ball turret during takeoff. However, this cramped arrangement leaves no room for her document valise, a small bag for carrying important papers. Reluctantly, she agrees to let the only friendly crew member, Walter Quaid, the dorsal gunner from the United States Army Air Force's USAAF, store her valise. Walter Quaid, a man among the crew, assures her that he will take responsibility for the leather case. As she descends into the Sperry Ball turret, preparing for takeoff, the plane begins to ascend into the sky. After a brief period, Garrett dons a headset and eavesdrops on the crew's disrespectful chatter about her. To their surprise, she interjects into their conversation via the microphone, revealing that she has been listening all along. Following this, they introduce themselves to her. She informs them of her role as a flight officer and explains that she received last-minute instructions for this mission. She also shares that she possesses skills as both a flight mechanic and a pilot. Amidst the lightning, Garrett spots an unusual creature under a wing. The captain suspects her discomfort might be due to claustrophobia in the gun turret. He instructs her to exit the turret, but a handle breaks off when she attempts to open the hatch. Taggart, Dorn, and a man named Stu Beckel struggle to unjam the hatch from above. The captain dismisses her concerns, labeling her as an auxiliary civilian, and asks her to stay calm. Garrett retorts, asserting her status as a flight officer with over 200 hours of Pacific flight time, likely surpassing most of the crew. The captain instructs the crew to leave the hatch alone, allowing Garrett some time to regain her composure. Shortly after, they disconnect the radio, cutting off her communication with them. Garrett is then seen removing her sling and inspecting a hidden pistol, revealing that her left arm is, in fact, uninjured. As she sits in silence, she spots a Japanese aircraft weaving through the nearby clouds. She reaches for the radio headset in an attempt to alert the captain, but a bizarre creature suddenly attacks her from the open hatch behind her. She manages to force it back through the hatch, but fails to secure it. In desperation, she sticks her finger through the hole. In the ensuing chaos, she grabs her gun, only to drop it, causing bullets to scatter from the chamber. After managing to load a single bullet into the gun, she aims at the creature lurking outside the hatch and fires. Meanwhile, Garrett locates a bolt to secure the hatch, but unfortunately, her finger is injured and unable to operate properly. She observes the creature slowly moving away from beneath the aircraft. As Garrett listens to the radio, she hears a conversation taking place and decides to put on the headset. The captain, addressing her, inquires whether she had discharged a firearm. However, she firmly denies such an action, insisting that the captain is mistaken. She dismisses his claims, suggesting that he might be experiencing auditory hallucinations. Instead, she redirects his attention to her leather bag, emphasizing its significance and proclaiming it as the top priority item on the plane. In response, Taggart, another crew member, informs the captain that they have received a response from Auckland Radio Control. At this moment, it dawns upon them that she has illicitly boarded the plane, deceiving them with false pretenses and misleading information. While attempting to operate the turret, Garrett spots a nearby Japanese fighter plane. Beckel reports seeing a large rat outside, but the captain dismisses it. He inquires about the contents of a leather bag, which Garrett insists is confidential, and opening it would lead to a court-martial. The captain promises not to open it. Garrett then asks Beckel about the rat's location and spots the Japanese aircraft approaching. She requests permission to fire, but the captain doubts her ability to handle a gun. As the enemy plane begins its attack, Garrett retaliates with the turret guns, hitting the plane and causing it to dive, trailing smoke. Garrett's voice now sounds distinctly American, leading the captain to question her, suspecting she might be an enemy agent. She assures him she's not, and reveals her maiden name is Garrett and her married name is Johnson. She reminds him her mission is classified. Suddenly, they receive news of trouble with Engine 3. Garrett spots a creature emerging from the wing. She attempts to target it with the turret guns, but they're jammed. The creature notices her and crawls across the turret, staring at her through the window. As its tail enters the cabin, Garrett reaches for her gun and kicks at the tail. She informs the captain, but he dismisses her claims as fabrications. However, just as she is about to take a shot at the creature, it climbs back onto the wing of the plane and begins dismantling parts, dropping them haphazardly. Suddenly, the aircraft experiences a loss of control over its instruments and hydraulics, causing a state of chaos among the crew. Arguments erupt regarding the existence of the creature, with some claiming to have seen it while others remain skeptical. In a perplexing turn of events, the crew members begin to suspect that Garrett's leather case possesses mind-controlling capabilities. Ignoring Garrett's protests, they express a strong desire to open the case. However, Quaid refuses to comply with the captain's command. In an attempt to retrieve the leather case from Quaid, the captain designates a crew member named Bradley Finch for the task. A tense struggle ensues between Quaid and Finch as they grapple for control over the case. Eventually, Finch manages to seize the case, and within moments, the unexpected sound of a baby emanates from within it. Quaid, seemingly taken aback by the discovery, urgently requests the baby from Finch, asserting that it belongs to him. He demands that Finch return the baby to him. The captain decides to abort the mission and return to base. Garrett shares her story with the captain, revealing she married young to a man who would abuse her when drunk. To escape him, she joined the Air Force. She didn't expect to become pregnant when she met Quaid. When her husband learned about her situation and threatened her life, she fled the base with her baby. 3 enemy aircraft suddenly approach their plane. Quaid alerts the crew about an attack on the turret, but soon Finch reports over the radio that Quaid has been lost. He also announces the disappearance of a baby, causing Garrett to panic. She had earlier seen a creature carrying a leather case with the baby inside. As the enemy planes prepare to attack, Garrett retaliates by shooting at the creature from the turret. The creature retreats into the wing, leaving the leather case precariously hanging. Amidst another enemy attack, Garrett ventures out of the turret towards the case. She manages to dislodge a pipe from the plane, just as their turret is completely shut off during the attack. Garrett, hanging by her legs, manages to catch a falling case with a pipe. She swings it into an opening and climbs up into the wing, finding the baby inside the case unharmed. She then navigates under the plane back to the turret hole and places the case inside the plane. As she slips and falls, a Japanese plane below her explodes, propelling her back through the hole. Dorn, in disbelief at the scene, is instantly killed by an enemy shot. Garrett retrieves the case and instructs the rear gun turret to continue firing at the enemy as she heads toward the front of the plane. In the ensuing chaos, we witness Taggart engaging in a fierce struggle with the creature. In a desperate attempt, the creature reaches out and manages to grab hold of the case. However, Taggart valiantly pushes the case back towards Garrett just before he loses his balance and plunges backwards through the bomb bay doors, meeting a tragic demise. As Garrett peers down through the open doors, she notices the creature desperately clinging on, trying to re-enter the plane by gripping onto its tail. Acting swiftly, she locates a sharp object and severs the creature's tail. As it plummets, its wings unfurl, allowing it to glide beneath the aircraft. In an effort to thwart its return, Garrett endeavors to drop boxes onto the creature, but it skillfully glides away, evading her attempts. Determined to take control of the situation, Garrett navigates her way to the cockpit, where the captain and Williams, the co-pilot, are situated. She urgently instructs them to jettison both the fuel and the cargo from the plane. An enemy plane targets them, causing Garrett to drop to the floor. When she rises, she finds Williams shot in the shoulder and the captain mortally injured. After the captain's death, Williams begins to dump fuel. Garrett instructs him to land the plane. She sees Finch shooting at one of the planes and informs him about the captain's death and the need to descend. Suddenly, Finch is killed, and Garrett is shocked to see Quaid alive. They notice a creature attacking Beckel at the back. Quaid secures the baby, while Garrett assists Beckel, who starts firing at the creature. As the enemy approaches Garrett, she fires a shot into its chest, causing it to tumble out of the side door and plummet towards the earth below. Suddenly, the final enemy aircraft advances towards them. Garrett seizes a rear turret gun and fires at the incoming plane, successfully hitting it and causing a fiery explosion just behind them. Garrett quickly notices their plane is beginning to descend dangerously close to the ground. She rushes to the front to assist Williams. Together, they manage to roll the aircraft 180 degrees to maintain an upward nose direction. They then shut off the last 2 engines and skillfully roll the plane back over to approach a flat landing area. The speed is alarmingly high, but they succeed in landing without any additional casualties. Garrett is momentarily haunted by the image of Quaid lying lifeless and the baby's carrier crushed. However, upon looking around, she finds both Quaid and the baby unharmed. Beckel emerges from the back, overjoyed to find the others still alive. Garrett spots a fire dangerously close to the oxygen tanks and urgently instructs everyone to evacuate before the plane detonates. They manage to distance themselves about 10 meters from the plane, just as it explodes. Garrett approaches Quaid, eyeing the leather case with apprehension. Quaid opens the case to reveal the baby, lying serenely as if untouched by the recent chaos. Beckel questions Garrett about her future, hinting at the potential trouble she could face. However, Williams interjects, assuring her that she won't face any repercussions as her transfer was in process. Quaid was about to propose marriage to his partner. The creature pushed Quaid down and tried to steal away a leather case they had. However, Quaid's friend Garrett intervened to stop the creature, then returned the baby they had been caring for back to Quaid. With a determined look, she then turned and confronted the creature, using its own sharp claw to finally defeat it. As she walked back to Quaid, the baby began crying, likely out of hunger. Quaid's partner took the baby and climbed a nearby mountain, where she was able to feed and care for the infant. The crisis had been averted, though the encounter had clearly been an intense and frightening one. And with that, the movie ends. We hope you enjoyed our video. Watch the next recaps on the screen, and don't forget to subscribe for more amazing recaps. See you in the next one.